into, this is a good learning experience, basically, that, how we react to a situation, how we respond, how we talk to ourselves is really, really important. And also how we could just point out all the negative, right? Like I could say, well, I dropped the call like 3 times and, yada, yada, yada. Or I could say, oh my God, it all worked out. Everybody's back on the call. This is super exciting. Hopefully I sound better than I sounded before because I was breaking up. Again, so to just be, I'm not quite sure where we totally lost each other, but I know I read that part from the book, which I like, and then was talking more about, this idea that, I was being, I'm sure, somewhat redundant because I do think there's an importance in the redundancy, but that this positive thinking, this positive attitude really, truly influences our health and how we age. It sincerely does, right? The more stress, we all know that stress negatively impacts our fertility. It is proven, and that's because stress negatively impacts our health. So when our health isn't going well, our fertility isn't going well. And, and that stress is kind of this negative space, and it's going to impact us. And so if we can just take that, that leap and start to shift our daily conversation with ourselves and our general attitude about life, I strongly encourage a gratitude practice, that every day when you wake up, you're listing things that you're grateful for. And, I do it. I email myself a list, or I'll lay in bed for a couple minutes before I get out of bed and go over what it is I'm grateful for and what it is that's, oh, okay. Thank you, Teeny. She wrote, you guys can see what she wrote, but, to just, again, start changing that conversation, change the identity of who you've become, right, through all of this, and start to question it and to combat it, and the foremost way we can do that is to tune into our internal dialogue and start to shift the conversation. You have to listen to what you're saying to yourself so that you can actually start to, lovingly and compassionately argue it, and shift this thing of, really being nice to yourself, to owning where you're at and knowing that, I think this was part of what I was talking about when we were probably getting cut off of, like, I think it was you, Teeny, who had said, in the 3 years of this process, this is now where you feel the most hopeful or optimistic. And I think that's amazing, there's a part of me that, of course, wants to say, I'm sorry that you've been in this process for 3 years. That sucks, and I wish I could make it different. And I always say I wish I had a magic wand, but I can't. And so the only thing we can really do is embrace it and accept it and say, all right, I'm in this process. I actually feel the most optimistic that I've ever felt, so that's awesome. And I also hope there's other things that you can look back on and say, and X, Y, and Z happened in my life over the last 3 years, and I feel really good about this. And, I'm more in love with my husband now than I ever was, or we just moved into this larger home and this feels like the right place to have a kid now. Whatever it is, like, to start to just try to see the good things that are happening and to focus on the joyful things in your life, not just, I think I'm cutting out. Okay, here I am. Not just the things that are lacking or the things that are missing. Another thing, and I'll share with you in my homework, when I mention all these teachers I have, but one of my teachers, and I'm a true believer in this, it says what you focus on grows. So if you're focused on the things that are missing in your life, then I think then that will continue to be missing and might even get larger that you're missing. If you focus on the things that are present in your life, the things that are joyful in your life, then your joy will grow. And that's the whole idea, that the joy that's in our heart needs to flourish so that it can then go down to the uterus and make it more hospitable. And there is for sure an emotional connection between our health and for sure with autoimmunity. These things do make our bodies more hospitable. They make our inside's less acidic and therefore more alkaline, and the alkalinity is more hospitable. They make, our cells more youthful, and that's more hospitable. So there is a whole process here, and to just, I just need you to start again shifting that conversation. Another thing I wrote here is like, the worthiness aspect, to tune into yourself there too. Do you feel worthy of getting everything you want in your life? And I know you might think, how does this have anything to do with getting pregnant? But I think it has a lot to do with it. Do you feel worthy? Or do you feel like on some level you're being punished for something, or you did something and you're deserving of this? I've heard everything under the sun, which is why I say what I say. I'm not saying it from any other place than experience or from what I hear behind closed doors. And, I can stand on the outside and I don't know you all that well, but I know in my heart of hearts that you're putting your best foot forward in this process, and you really want this, and you're trying to do whatever you can do to get more support, to get through this process, and to get pregnant and carry that pregnancy to term. And so I think you're very worthy, but I need you to feel like you are worthy. I want you to feel like you deserve this and you don't have to suffer. And, put that aside. Maybe, the suffering is done. I have a joke I always say in the clinic. Once one of my girls who's been through, too many times trying, and she finally gets pregnant, and then she worries about, her pregnancy, and will it be healthy, or her delivery. And I always joke, I say, no, yours is behind you. That's it. You struggled on the front end. You don't get any more struggles, And I swear, I feel like I'm right most of the time when I say it, or whatever. Maybe it's right. I'm changing the belief system. I'm allowing them to believe that that's the truth. And there's a lot of power to that. Thoughts, your belief is just a thought you keep thinking. So I want you to start to believe that without a doubt this is going to happen. And for whatever reason you're on this, this journey, and I hope you're learning more about yourself, and I hope you're learning how to really optimize your health mentally and emotionally and physically, and I hope that you can see that this is a process, right? And that you don't have to struggle anymore, and I know, like, going to the clinic and changing your diet and all of these things can seem like a struggle, but I also would love for you to look at them as things that are enhancing your health and ultimately your fertility, to just again shift that focus, from one of lack or, begrudgingly doing something to one of this feels good, and I am supported in my journey, and there are people out there who are going through the same thing, and I'm not alone, and I'm doing the best I can do right now with what's available to me. And I deserve this. I'm worthy of this. I want this. I really want this, and that you are allowed to have what you want. You really are. And if someone told you somewhere along the line that you weren't, I wholeheartedly disagree with them, so I want you to also tune into that. Again, this is like, I think, years of work, this kind of self-love, and not to say that you have to do years of it before you can get pregnant. I don't mean it like that, but I mean, like, this is work that is constant. It's daily. It's really important for us to tune in. And I also think then we can mother from a very grounded and confident place, not a place that's fear-based. And I always see it as like, really what I got into this business for was to make the world a better place, and if that's cheesy, so be it, but that's really the truth of it. And I see myself doing that as creating one healthy mother after another so that she can have one healthy child after another, and bring those children again into this healthy home. And by health, I truly mean that we have optimism and hope and joy in our hearts, and less fear and more love, And so, do that work, tune into that conversation. And when you start to hear yourself say, you're infertile, right? Or this isn't going to happen, or your eggs are no good, or you're too old. I mean, whatever it is, I would like you to combat it. I would like you to lovingly and compassionately recognize it. You say to yourself, you know, that's not nice. I didn't mean to say that to you. I really truly believe that you are doing the best you can do right now, and you're where you're supposed to be, and we're going to get through this. We're going to get to the other side of this. There is a light at the end of that tunnel. And it, I guess we can start to close up with this too. It's like, do you believe that you are fertile? And, you don't have to obviously write this down or share this with anyone, but I want you to know that answer in your heart. Do you believe in your heart that you're going to have another baby or a baby? Do you believe in your heart that you can do this? And if the answer is yes, which I've learned over the years that all of the time the answer is yes. It could be through tears and through crying, but the answer is yes. Then I want you to let go a little bit and trust in the process, that again, you're where you're supposed to be, and accepting is like letting the stream flow you down rather than resisting and you have to try to swim upstream. You know what I mean? So just kind of like surrender a little to this process that, if you know in your heart, oh, I think I'm cutting out again. Did I cut out? Can you guys hear me? Someone type, please. Okay.
You're good.
Oh, thank you. Did you hear my grunt? Okay, you did for a minute, but you're back. Good. Okay. Great. Thank you, guys. Just that if you know in your heart, right? If you say, I want you to maybe just right now, hopefully we're all still in our quiet spaces, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, do I believe that I am fertile?
You're cutting out again.
Oh, damn it. Okay.
Hello?
Hi, can you hear me? Okay, here it goes again. Okay.
Hey, Aimee.
Can you hear me?
I think I can hear you.
Yeah? My video is still turned off. Okay, here I come. I'm coming back. Okay. Well, I guess this is worth repeating. So it's again another good learning experience. Let's see. I think one of you is still trying to come on. Can everybody? Let's see. Moss, are you on? There's just one that isn't coming on, but I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are on. Okay. So again, I would love for us all. Okay, here we go. You're back, right, Moss? I see you.
Yep.
Okay, good. So if we can all just take a moment and again close our eyes, if we're in a safe, quiet space to do so, and you don't have to answer me, but just answer in your own heart. Do you believe you will have this child? Do you believe you are fertile? Do you believe your body works? Do you believe your body can work? Do you believe you can work out the kinks in the system? And maybe your answer is, and I'm not sure. Maybe it's a yes. Maybe it's a resounding yes. I doubt, just from my experience, but it could be a no. But I just want you to get in touch with that feeling, in touch with that truth inside of you, right? If you believe it, then know that it will happen, and then just try to let go and trust the rest of this process. So I'd love to open up to some questions. I know because there's a number of us on here. If we have any burning questions, let's type them, and then I can go through them for you. And we can wrap up in like the next 5 minutes because I know it's like 9:46. And I'll follow up tomorrow morning with the homework and I guess we're going to have like 3 different videos to watch because of the breakups. But does anyone have any questions for me or comments? Or You can also, if you don't feel like sharing with the group, which it's okay if you don't. I hope you do, because that's sort of the point of this. But you can email me the questions or comments as well, and I can address them in the next call or in a group email. And you guys are all BCC'd on those emails, so again, you're as anonymous as you'd like to be. But to just wrap it up again, if you will, I want us to just start tuning into this conversation and to know that like hope and faith and love really serve us more than anything else. Fear blocks us, right, and doesn't allow things to come in. It does not allow us to receive. Love opens us up. And so if we can find that place of love for ourselves, that would be truly spectacular, and your health will thrive from that, and then your fertility will thrive from that as well. And let's see, I see some other typing, so I will hold tight. But as I said, I'm going to follow up with the videos. This is how I've been doing it. I make them private on YouTube, so everybody make sure you have a YouTube or a Google account so you can access them. And then I will send off some homework that you do not have to send back to me, but you can if you want to. But it's just your self-love that I hope will inspire you to do the homework. And also go back and reread at least that first chapter, my least favorite word, shifting from being infertility focused to fertility focused. And then chapter 7 as well. Okay, let's all unmute real fast so we can say goodnight then. Everybody unmute.
Good night. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ladies. Okay, so we'll be on same time, same place next week, okay?
Thank you.
And thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys.